So I'm here with State Senator Brandon Creighton from Senate District 4. Thanks for being here, Senator. We're here at the GOP Convention, so maybe first of all you could talk about your victory efforts as part of that committee.
Yeah, great to be here with you, and you guys have been going nonstop through the convention, and so much traffic around your studio and your booth. It's been exciting, so always a fan of the Texan. But
appreciate it.
Yeah, the victory effort is fully underway now that the runoffs are over. The state Republican Party has a super PAC, and all states and their Republican Party have the same. It's by statute. It allows for a 50% discount on postage for the direct mail that's distributed. So this huge direct mail campaign that we're assembling as we work separately to put money and funds together for Get Out the Vote, for leveraging the technology advances we've made for voter registration, it's all going to tie together. But the victory effort for 2022 for the state is to make sure that our full ballot, as well as our swing districts in the Valley and in other areas that are highly contested at the congressional level, that we do our part to take back the House by making sure that Texas produces the strongest numbers.
Sure. So just to move more into the Capitol, so to speak.
Yeah.
You've been focusing on higher education for
some time.
At the
state Capitol.
Yes, sir, yeah.
That's right.
And recently there was some rearrangement of the committees in the state Senate. Maybe you could go over how that happened and what your new role is in that regard.
Yeah, so I have chaired the Senate Education Committee for Higher Ed for the last few years. Separate from that has been a Senate Education Committee for Public Ed. And the Lieutenant Governor recently decided to combine both of those committees into an education super committee where we're not working in silos, but we're working together on a K through 16 completed holistic effort that also has a workforce component on it. And so from that represents over half of the Texas budget, and we will be coming forward with reforms for public education, both on policy, the classroom, curriculum, and how schools are funded. And at the same time, we'll be working to develop an extensive parental bill of rights, and we're also working on a teacher bill of rights to make sure their experience in the classroom is lifted up in the ways that keep their hearts and their minds knowing that we appreciate them, their focus, and what they're attempting to accomplish on behalf of our students. And we have to do all of this together. But public ed and higher ed, there are a lot of changes we need to make. And our parents across the state are very vested in these efforts. We see other states advancing these efforts, and Texas should be the model for the whole country to follow.
Maybe you could elaborate a little bit more on the changes we need to make as you characterized it.
Yeah.
If you can.
The changes in particular for policy?
Yes, if you have any legislative idea. I know session's a little bit of ways away.
Well, to get granular, the Parental Bill of Rights itself, there are many aspects of a Parental Bill of Rights where parents working with schools on transparency, getting the right information quickly that they request on behalf of their students, making sure that they're involved and welcome in school board public meetings so that their voices are heard. And whether it be through a difficult pandemic like COVID, where there are controversial policies being implemented, or now that we're out of COVID and on to back in classroom instruction, knowing that we've got some archaic ways we've been doing things that from a regional perspective aren't working as a one-size-fits-all in education across the state. And so we're going to get, like I said, very granular with it, very specific. We're going to look at some of the positive things we've done in public education in the last few years. We've made a 25-year change on how we fund public schools. We've reduced reliance on Robin Hood by 50%. We've tied in public school funding to sales tax consumption-based funding. We've made sure that a 38-year change took place on the property tax system tied to public schools, and on and on. We've got, very pro-taxpayer minded, very pro-parent and pro-child minded initiatives that are just the next chapter, because we can't accomplish everything in one session. It's a 141-day mad dash to get the urgency of the priority bills accomplished. We always stumble on some of our favorites, but we don't want a system any other than what we've got. Because in Washington, the reason why they get nothing done is because they have months and months and months and months to make promises that hang on your door, but really rarely ever accomplish what we need to happen. Texas gets the purpose done, the bills done, the priorities accomplished. There's always unfinished business, but schools will be safe and our kids will have the best education system in America.
So you mentioned pro-parent, pro-child policy and transparency. Do you have any theories as to why those particular topics and that general legislative thrust is so popular right now?
I think we've seen across the state that school districts that apply curriculum but allow lesson plans to be developed in the classroom are taking a risk that there are some wet blankets of indoctrination thrown into those lesson plans in order to accomplish a curriculum that never really required such. And so where districts are allowed to develop their own lesson plans and there's a political ideology from the woke left that is designed to infiltrate these classrooms that really aren't necessary with reading, writing, arithmetic, and deductive reasoning, as we work towards these STEM deficits and these other things that we need to accomplish, I think that some of those things parents are demanding change. And so under a parental bill of rights, we'll be reviewing all of that, and curriculum and lesson plans are at the heart of what teachers are teaching and what students are learning.
Sure. Probably about the last thing. Recently, in the previous session, we passed a bill, the Texas legislature passed a bill limiting racially preferential treatment in K through 12 public schools and other adjacent treatments regarding race and gender in SB 3. Is there going to be anything like that similar for higher ed, do you think, on the horizon?
Well, my bill to ban critical race theory K through 12, I will bring that bill back again, and I will be expanding that into higher ed. As far as the provisions that you're talking about, I think it's all on the table. And I know we will be having hearings on consideration of expanding those policies into higher ed, but we've got some major higher ed reforms that even go beyond the scope of those subjects and that are more comprehensive. We have to really take a look at the framework for higher education in Texas and where we want to go into the future. And some of these ways that we've been doing it in the past have worked, and some of the ways that we have been doing this in the past are policies and protocols we need to leave behind and take the next step. And so there's going to be some very interesting hearings on education this coming session. We'll be listening to the expertise, we'll be listening to the educators, but we'll also be innovative and thinking outside the box with parent involvement and with experts that I think have brought amazing accomplishments in other states that we need to be looking at.
I'm here with State Senator Brandon Creighton. Thanks so much for coming on talking.
Yeah, thanks for the invitation. Appreciate what y'all are doing here at the Republican Convention, and always how you cover the news and cover the facts and just get the information out to the public so they can make their own decisions.
Appreciate that. Thanks a lot.